All right, so it looks like we're back on. I don't know if they're gonna have buffering issues again or whatever, but if you're just joining us now, this is a second part of what's happened today. Today is January 2nd of 2023 at about 1:17. It is Bri Bri. Hi, everybody. Not doing a show today, just because little Johnny Two Shoes couldn't get off work. But I'm here. We're actually moving studios today, and we'll be in a new one tomorrow. So I had to come in and just kind of get some of this crap together. And to be quite honest, it's so much. I'm looking around, it just looks like there's so much to do, and I really don't wanna have to do any of it, so, I figured I would come on and hang out with you guys for a little bit, and afterwards, let's see, was it 1:17? I figure after that, then I will get back to work, but I figured I would just jump in and say hi to everybody. Hope you guys are around, tomorrow because we will be live. Now, here's the thing. Oh my god, it's gonna do the buffering thing again, isn't it? Son of a yeah, I don't know. We definitely have internet issues. Why? Like I said, I'm hard lined in, man. I don't understand why it would be doing this. Apparently, we're stuck on everything. Yep. Well, can you guys let me know if it's buffering for you guys again? Because with me, I just tried to play some music and nada, nada. So I think something's going on. But I don't know. What can you do? Que sera, sera. That's what I like to say. So I'd like to know. I think what was the last thing our buddy Ed was just we were talking about 3 to 7 there, and, hmm, that was that is what it is. I'll tell you though, on being involved in it was actually kind of fun because it was almost like going back to junior high school and being allowed to be an asshole. You know what I mean? Like, because when she, took the gloves off and started going after us, well, we were told, "Well, swing back," which was phenomenal. Well, we were already swinging, but, like, we thought we were gonna get, suspended. That was that one time. She was insisting that we got suspended and, went in and did this whole thing, and, they brought us in, and then they actually instead of suspending us, and by the way, suspending us for something we didn't do. We're not the ones that got in trouble. We're not the ones that, took the station down single-handedly. Wasn't us. But, they actually hired a guy. What was that guy's name? That old dude, Rod. Wow, I can't believe I remember his name. They hired this guy, Rod. He only lasted about 3 or 4 weeks, but, he came in and he was gonna, harness us, and what he was paid to bust our balls, really. And, the issue, though, is, we're not kids, so, I'm not gonna listen to you, especially if I don't like you, if I don't respect you, and then you're gonna give me advice? Shut up. Shut your face. And, that was the time where we were in the we had a meeting, and he was just getting really, a little too ballsy for me. He was saying some things that people didn't like, and then, John got up and started yelling at him, so it was a whole thing. So, like I said, if you're listening on the streamer, hopefully you're not experiencing too much of this buffering nonsense that we are here. But you go over to YouTube, just check it out. Do me a favor, just go over to YouTube anyway, hit subscribe. We need that. It's Renegade Radio Boston. That's all. Nice and simple. Renegade Radio Boston. Go like us, go subscribe, do what you gotta do. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a little bit. You know what I'll do? I'll play music while I'm cleaning up just so it's not, you know, me just rambling for no reason. And let's see. I like this. This is from I guess everybody who listens knows I'm a big Hall Notes fan. This is Daryl Hall when he does his thing called Daryl's House or something. But I guess Jason Mraz or whatever his name is sings that song The Remedy. Never liked The Remedy normally, but the live version I like a lot. I think this is really good. So check this out and we'll be right back. right. It is January 2nd at 1:25 PM Eastern Standard Time. No show today, guys. Just here to tell you, nothing live today for Renegade Radio, but we will be live tomorrow. This is Bri, and I'm live right now. But the show's not gonna be live. So I figure we're in the middle of moving stuff, so I'm gonna get back to doing that. But I'm gonna play some music. So break it up a little bit, and then when I leave, I'll play the best of last week. I'm so bored. I'm actually I really should be, cleaning up and packing everything up, and I'm just rather listen to old Hall Notes with you guys. Um, hmm, I don't know what's going on, but just so you guys know, once again, I'm not going to keep saying this because I'm sure the people that are listening are like, "Shut up!" But yeah, we're not live today, and today being January 2nd, but we will be live tomorrow, January 3rd. What time? I don't know. Depends on when Johnny could get out, but the studio is going to be a lot closer to my house now. So when John can't make it, I'm still going to pop in. And granted, it's never Renegade Radio unless the both of us are here. But I got to do something during the day. I'm so effing bored. Um, I don't know if we're still buffering. It looks like everything's going good. All right. Hey, everybody, if you're listening to the streamer or wherever the hell you're listening on the apps, come on over to YouTube. Just Google, say Google, son of a. Just put in Renegade Radio Boston or Renegade Radio Boston. We'll pop this right up. Like us, subscribe to us. You'll get notification when we go live because it's all over the place now. Used to be, what, 6 to 10, and 6 to 10:30, then 7 to 10, then 8 to 10, then 7 to 9, then 8 to 9. So, yeah, it's easier. Just if you hit subscribe, you'll get notified when we're live and you can tune in then. But I'd like to know, just because obviously it's not a show, I have nothing prepared. I'm just rambling because I'm bored and I'm looking around at this studio and I don't want to clean any of it. I, maybe I guess you guys don't care, but I'd move that camera around so you could see it. It's just a ton of crap, man. And it's all just junk. It's toys because I'm a 50-year-old guy going on 12, but they're BB guns and pellet guns and footballs and wiffle balls and ping pong balls that we used to throw at Alex. And so, but there's just a lot of it. I mean, there's a ton of it. And of course, then there's a whole bunch of radio crap that goes with it, which, ugh, yeesh. So, but okay, my buddy Ed saying everything's great on both the streamer and YouTube. Hey, look at me now. I'm becoming like this whole tech. All I did was restart it, but I'm becoming a tech guy. I understand it. You just restart it and pray to God, and hopefully everything will work. But I think we just got to upgrade our equipment. To be quite honest with you, I don't even want to upgrade the equipment. I just want to go back on terrestrial. F this. Let other people worry about it. It was so much easier when like we didn't have to know any of this crap because we still don't know any of it, but we should. So at least we'll take that we should part out of it, and that will make me feel better. I used to love being able to call an engineer and having somebody show up who, I don't know, knew what he was doing and fix it, immediately, as opposed to me just turning stuff on and off again and praying to God it works. But thankfully that time it did. But oh man, I how's everybody feeling after the new year? I know we're gonna probably get into this tomorrow, but does anybody get depressed? Like, I know a lot of people say that there's like that New Year's depression after the holiday depression. You know, um, I don't think I'm depressed, but I don't know what I am. I think I'm right in the middle of everything. I'm not happy, not excited, not sad. Just in that, who gives a shit type of. Ooh, pardon my language, but who cares about any of it? You know what I mean? Because I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but what? Oh yeah, well there you go. It's anticlimactic, Ed, not anticlimax. But yes, you're right. It's very anticlimactic. And this year, for me personally, was kind of well. It's been a pretty bad few years personally for me, but this year was weird, man. Like it was. John and I say this all the time. It's almost like that movie, The Truman Show, which to be honest with everybody, in all honesty, I've never seen it. I don't like Jim Carrey. I hate that guy. He's not funny. He makes goofy faces, and that's it. I just him, Will Ferrell, people like that stink. I know a lot of people dig him. I don't. But the premise is, that your life's a movie basically, and you're the only one that doesn't have a script, and that has been the way. Holy crap! This entire year, like last year, 2022, I think sucked for everybody, but it's just been so crazy. And I was watching the news before I got here, and apparently there's a new, I don't know, a new variant. Uh, this is why we don't believe the government, by the way, for people out there who don't understand why, "Oh, you should believe them and believe the CDC and the WHO, the WHO." And I can't call them the WHO. I always think of the band, but you know, it's just because you lied and you keep lying. Like right now, either COVID is horrible and it will maintain to be horrible until there's a slow decline and it's no longer horrible. Or you could do what Joe Biden did and President Xi did. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. And people go, "Hey, we've had enough," and they go, "All right, take away everything, take away, all the restrictions." And and well, wait a minute. Then was it ever horrible, or are you just going to allow it to get worse? Because they claim that I believe it was over 40% of Americans right now. Hold on to your hats, everybody. So let's see if that's what 330 something million, right? Or here, so you think that's 1.2 roughly million. Then all the illegals that snuck in, they're in on this too. Probably the ones bringing it in. Actually, not probably, but so now all of a sudden, 40% of America has this one variant that is easily transmittable and is supposed to be worse than Omicron 1. I think this is Omicron 2. Um, what's going on? And now they're bringing back, like, this is how you know it's all BS. And let's see, real quick, Ed in the chat room just says a new variant's just like the flu every year. That's true, but here's the difference from what I heard, at least. Like viruses don't get stronger as they go on. Okay, they get weaker. Yeah, that's kind of just the way it's pretty much always been. Yeah, you can get a new one that comes out and kicks the crap out of you, but then through the course of 6 months, a year, whatever, it just will go down, down, down. This is because I believe it's man-made is the reason why it can maintain this level and if not get worse. Because naturally it will get weaker when it's kind of artificially stimulated. It gets stronger. So that's what I think's going on. I think this is just another biological attack because I think that's what the first one was too. But the crazy thing was they're saying that because those people rioted after they freaking burnt people alive in their apartments over there in China. It took a week and a half for them to say, okay, everybody's allowed out, and you're allowed to travel, but we want you to travel internationally. What? Why are we here? How about this? And call me a xenophobe if you want, because I don't give an F. Why are we allowing people from China that are being unchecked come here? And don't give me the test nonsense, because I love how this administration. I see you guys got me started. This administration thinks that testing people before they get on the plane, 2 days or so before they get on the plane, will keep the variant out of here, out of America. First off, you have to be a Democrat to believe that. You have to be as dumb as a Democrat to believe that, because what if you, I don't know, took the test? It's the same thing we were saying during COVID here. Let's say you take the test in 2 days and then you catch it the next day and then you get on the plane. They're not saying you have to test when you're on the plane, test when you're off the plane. It's 2 days beforehand. That makes zero sense. That makes zero sense. And when you're saying that 40 to 50% of over a billion people in China are infected, they should not be allowed in this country, period. But people are afraid of being called, xenophobes and things like that. Call me whatever you want. It's called common sense. See, what we've done is we've allowed the crazy people to take over. And the crazy people are offended by words. That's why we have 4,000 genders now, because everybody, if you call somebody a her when she doesn't want to be a her, shut up. I've said this quite a few times in my life, and I've never meant it more than I do now. I'm done playing along with other people's mental illnesses. I'm done with it. Okay. So if you have a mental illness, I feel bad for you, and I think you should get help. And if there's a way I can help you, I probably won't, but I could. I could maybe, but then again, I probably won't. But I'm not going to play along with this anymore. So if you're, it's kind of like when I worked at this dispensary for a while. There was a guy there that was about 6'5", right? he had long blonde hair that he dyed hot pink, and he would wear pigtails. And all he's doing is screaming for attention, by the way. You know, that's all that is. The guy was like in his 60s. It was ridiculous. And he would get upset. And when he get upset, he would walk into a room and start to color. We're not in junior high school, grammar school, where you're going to take a nappy time and you're at work, brother. You know, toughen up, man up, get to work. What are you doing? But you're not allowed to say that, you know, because when I made comments when it was busy and this nut was friggin' playing, you know, with building blocks or whatever. And I said to the boss one day, I go, "What is that crap?" You know what I mean? Get him out here. And if he's not out here, fire him. Oh, we can't fire him, Bry. You know, and this is why I no longer work there because I told them, you know, if I worked here, probably 80% of you wouldn't because I wouldn't put up with your nonsense. And because it's all liberal bullshit. It was all this nonsense where like there were, you know, people that wanted to be referred to as what unicorns or whatever the hell it was. I'm not. Why? Why? Because you have a mental deficiency. Do I have to, you know, dumb it down and act like you're being perfectly rational? You know, before all this, we had people that were crazy. You know, and by the way, saying somebody's crazy isn't a bad thing. Oh, you say the C word. Look, man, people have mental illnesses. It's just a fact of life. But they had them forever. You know, like I lived in New York when I was a kid. You used to go to New York, and they're all over the place. And unfortunately, a lot of them homeless and whatever. But the thing was, we didn't all then start pretending that the guy that was talking to the building in his underwear in a snowstorm was normal. We would try to get that person help. We didn't identify with them and try to join them. We would try to get them help. And what's happened is we've elected the nuts and we've elected the weak and we've elected people who just want power. Like Nancy Pelosi said it perfectly, not this time, but the last time when she was like, I just want that gavel one more time. I just need to have that gavel one more time. So she didn't give two craps about anything. She would fit a quota and she got in there and then she would play the game and wouldn't care if anybody found out. Like her and her underwear husband getting hammered by some dude and just where did that story go, by the way? Where did you know, like what happened in this country? But we've been distracted now because we're too worried about the 5 transvestites that live in Massachusetts where they're going to take a piss when they have to, as opposed to, hey, whatever happened to those trillions of dollars you lost? Whatever happened to, you know, the distractions work and we allow them to work because they're just effing stupid. It's saying when you're wearing a mask or when you're walking into a restaurant, but removing it when you sit down to eat. Of course, yeah. Well, how about like when I used to go, that's a great one, by the way. You go into the restaurant and then everybody's sitting down. So you're walking by with a mask, but everybody sitting down doesn't have one. And you sit down and you take it off. Did it make any sense to anybody? I mean, does it make any sense to anybody? This doesn't, and it won't. You know why? Because it's going to continue to be stupid. Because right now we have a knee-jerk reaction happening with this China thing. Because instead of there being any common sense, and we're the Republicans suck too. Don't get me started on that. But where are they? You know, because you're going to tell me China has this big infestation, but they're allowed to travel. So you're going to test them, and that's it. You know, you guys were forcing people to get shots if they wanted to keep a job, but these people, you know what I mean? And shots that didn't work, but these people you're just going to allow over. Why? Why? You know, I think that there should be a bit, and by the way, I think that there should be either testing or a ban on everybody coming in. You know why? Because it's just not Chinese people. You know, like this is the way they did it in the beginning, at least in my humble opinion, was the Chinese developed it or whatever happened. They infected, you know, some people. Then they sent those people over to Italy, northern Italy, because you know, like Prada and all that stuff that's Italian made isn't made by Italians anymore. It's made by slave labor, and that's what China does. They enslave their people and work them to death. So they sent those people over to northern Italy. They infected everybody. That's why northern Italy had a high death rate because they had a lot of older people in northern Italy. And they couldn't, you know, especially back in the early days of this, didn't even know what it was. So, you know, then those people from Italy came to America or went to France or England and infected people. And that's just the way it is. So this knee jerk, we're going to test them a minimum of 2 days before they get here is stupid. My sister passed away last year of cancer. And I think you guys will remember, we normally never ever take any time off unless it's a funeral. Like we always do the show, but there was quite some time from, I guess it was not this year, it was 2021. But from December of 2020 right up until she passed in November of that next year, I would fly to North Carolina and I would be there for anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks every month. And when I was here, like she passed away in October, and when I was here in September, I wound up getting COVID really bad. Like real. That's why when people tell me you're a denier, man, no, stupid. I'm anti-mandate. I'm not a denier. I know it's out there. I had it. I literally, I almost died from it. I was talking to my ex girlfriend who was with me during that time, and like I'll never forget. When they, I thought it was just the bad flu, and then they told me I had COVID. I thought, all right, well, big deal. You know what I mean? Not everybody goes in the hospital with COVID. I'll be fine. Uh, God, it took like a day and a half, and I remember taking a few steps and I couldn't breathe. And there's this whole, I won't get for you with the story again in case you're a regular listener. Um, but when I was down in my parking garage and I had to go up the steps and I almost died and whatever. And then, when I got to the hospital, well, that's why people say I'm a denier. I freaked out. I pulled out my IVs. I pulled off the heart monitor stuff and I pulled out the oxygen because I was convinced I was going to die. And I just wanted to go somewhere. I don't know why. I think that's what animals do, by the way. I never felt more like a real animal than I did right then because you know how like when they say like animals want to be alone when they die or they go somewhere. I don't think they want to be alone. I think they're trying to find somewhere where they think they'll feel better. So that whole they're going somewhere to die, I don't think so. I think they're going somewhere to try to figure it all out because that's what I did. And then I had the wherewithal to call somebody who I probably shouldn't have and tell them how much I love them and I'm going to miss them. And if I die, to tell my kid and my sister and all this good stuff. You make bad choices in life, whatever. But but I would remember looking in the mirror of the hospital, and I guess the alarms are going off since I pulled everything out, and I had nurses running in. Um, I think it was within 12 hours or so, I was laying down, and I couldn't talk, but I remember having a hard time breathing, and they ran in and they pushed me on my side, and they, you figure they give you a shot kind of so it doesn't hurt, so they give you a little alcohol, and then pink. Man, above her head and hit me as hard as she could with this needle. And I guess it was like almost a week later, I was home and I had this muscle spasm thing that lasted, no joke, probably about 6, 7 hours. It was horrible. I literally, I was crying, begging for it to stop. It was amazing. So that's why people tell me, you're a denier. No, stupid. I'm far from a denier. I just don't believe you force people to get something, especially something that is now known to be killing people. Even though they're not making a big deal of it, you don't have 20, 30, 40-year-old people that are perfectly healthy just dropping dead. And the only thing they have in common is they all got the shot and the boosters. So I would look into that if I were, in the field or anybody with a fair mind. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And just real quick, our buddy is also saying, thank God you quit smoking before then. Dude, I would not have made it. I know that now in hindsight. There was no way I could have made it if I smoked, because I was smoking I smoked a pack and a half to two a day every day. I mean, so much so, as gross as this sounds, I used to smoke in the shower. And I know people think that's impossible, but it's not. You just put an ashtray outside and you lean out and you take a hit and but every morning I would smoke in the shower. I'd smoke in the car here. When we would go down, our breaks were 6.5 minutes then. I would smoke 2 cigarettes because I would chain smoke them really fast. And we had 2 breaks an hour then. And so I would smoke 4 an hour. Then after the show, we go down and smoke another few. And it was horrible. And then I started really having issues breathing before COVID. So I don't think I would have done well with that. That's why it's hard when you're a smoker that quick, because now nobody wants to hear from you because they think you're being a dick. Like, I have a lot of friends that smoke, and it concerns me because I don't want them to die and I don't want bad things to happen to them. Now, I understand that people said the same thing about me when I smoked, and I didn't care either, but now I see the seriousness of it, and how, not a joke, man. Like, that smoking stuff can kill you and eventually might, because I know out of the people I know that died, quite a lot of them, it was always like a smoking or a diabetes, like, serious health issues. So, you just got to be careful with that stuff. But, it's crazy because I smoked for so long, and I had my sister, when my sister got diagnosed with cancer, is when I quit, I guess, like 2 months into it, because I had to be a hard-headed asshole and still smoke. But, my point was, they're telling these people to get tests within 2 days when they get here. When I got out of the hospital with COVID, it was September 18th. Um, and I was told initially that I could not, I told them I wanted to go see my sister. How long do I have to wait? She has lung cancer and on and on. And they said 30 days. And I said, okay. But we kind of knew she was in the final stages of this. So I didn't know what to do. And I certainly didn't want to be the reason my sister died. So I didn't go. I mean, we used to talk on the phone every day, but it's not the same, obviously. And I blame them for stealing those last few days of me with my sister. I mean, my sister and I always very close my whole life. And to think I didn't get to see her, until she's literally in hospice, because of that pisses me off. But it shows you the neglect and just the BS knee jerk response these people have. They don't know. They don't know. I'm so tired of hearing, what about that? Oh, masks. Oh, the masks, the masks, the masks. Hey, as for brains, let's not, and people will tell us we're wrong. See, people, they love to change facts and they love to change history. Who got me started on this, by the way? Because now I'm rambling. But but they love to change stuff because remember, the Surgeon General and everybody said day one of COVID, the only masks that will work are N95 masks because the particles are so small they're going to get through the fibers of the other masks. The only mask they can't get through is an N95. But guess what, everybody? You're not getting an N95 because we have to give it to our first responders. And I get all that. They're around it a lot more than us. That's fine. But then don't make us wear the fake masks. If the fake masks don't work, then why? What are we doing? What are we doing it for? Then the Surgeon General gets on TV and he starts cutting up a shirt, showing you how to make a mask out of a shirt. Like that's when we just jumped off into the nothing is going to make sense ever again type of world because that was just dumb. That's a Surgeon General. The Surgeon General should have stood in front of us and said, look, I'm getting pressure from these people to show you guys how to make a mask out of a shirt, but it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. I'm the Surgeon General. I can't lie to you. It ain't going to work, And what happens? They want you to do, now they're saying do it again. But what they've done now is when you say masks don't work, they act like the Surgeon General never said that. They always go, of course it does. But here's the other thing liberals love to do. Because remember, they can't be wrong. They can't just say, something, you guys are right. Masks don't work. Okay? You're right. You don't have to wear them. They don't work. What they have to say is, but it slows down the transmission of other stuff too. Well, good. Something that also covers my nose and mouth and makes them warm when it's cold outside. But that's not the point of wearing it. The point of wearing it was so I don't get COVID. But if this does not protect me against COVID, then why am I wearing it? And that's why they had to go into the whole thing of, well, you're not wearing it for you because the mask doesn't protect you. It protects other people from you. Which, once again, everybody, that doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. If it can't protect the stuff coming in, how's it protecting the stuff going out? And what because people spit when they talk? People have always spit when they talk. They don't cover their mouths when they sneeze. They don't, the people are disgusting. I get all that. Trust me, I get all that. I thought people were gross long before all this. But that was more of a power trip than it was a health thing. That was you're going to do what we tell you to do. And here's something I don't think I've said on the air yet, but I think I did in the beginning, got told not to. But years ago, okay, if you told Americans, especially American women, hey, you're going to have to cover your faces anytime you leave the house from now on. All that strong woman BS that we always hear about? The only reason I call it BS is because I'm tired of hearing about it. But, obviously you have strong women. But that strong woman stuff, that wouldn't happen. If it was just cover your face because we tell you to, it ain't going to happen. But if there's this mysterious disease that you can't see that's so teeny tiny that you got to wear this mask, and if you want a job, you got to wear a mask. If you want to go into that store and buy food, you got to buy a mask. If you want to buy clothes, you got to buy a mask. That's what they did. And for some reason, they got this country and other countries to have all their people, women included, to cover their faces. And I think we all know where that's going. You know what I mean? That's just where it's going. And I think we're in that state again. They're going to bring it back. Remember, the only reason that Biden came out like the only reason he came out and said that the pandemic was over is because he's got Alzheimer's. Okay. And he says stuff he's not supposed to say out loud. That's why when he reads, the scripts on the teleprompter and he says, stop here, or next page, exit left. When he holds up pages that say sit down, you in big letters, you sit down, you smile, you this, because the man can't do anything. He's just literally a marionette. He's a puppet that they're just pulling all the strings for. But he came out and slipped and said the pandemic's over. And I think that was in July of last year. Now, the thing was, July, August, September, October, November. Ooh, a little more than 3 months, maybe 3.5 months away from what? The midterms. As soon as the midterms were over, right? It started with, oh, Thanksgiving's coming. Oh, Christmas is coming. Oh, New Year's is coming. Oh, the Chinese are coming. Everybody gets to wear a mask again. It's what they're doing to just reinstate this stuff. They did that. They did that just for the fact they wanted to vote, and they knew that people were not going to vote Democrat if they were the ones voting to keep the end. Plus, look what they. This is why you can't believe anything that they say. Like when you look at what's going on in the border, all the people that they insist have to come here. Because for some reason, one country, our country, is responsible for taking the world's woes and fixing them. So anybody who was born on this planet who has an issue should come here, and we'll give you Section 8 housing, we'll give you money, we'll give you health care, we'll give you medicine, we'll give you a free education, and you come on over, we'll just give it to you. Uh, and we won't even, I don't know, test you for COVID on the way in. Or screw COVID. What about polio? What about measles? What about other? I mean, there's tons of other things going on out there in these third world crap countries. Remember when they got mad at Trump because he called them S-hole countries? You ever been to a third world country? I haven't. And the reason being is I've seen it on TV. I ain't trying. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Sightsee? You know what I mean? They're assholes. They are. People are starving in the street. Are you making fun of the starving people? No. But you're saying the country's S. And if anything, you stop giving that country money because as we're giving them billions of dollars, all you see is their leaders getting rich and their people getting sick. It makes no sense. But right now we have so many people in this country that are just they're above the law unless you are an American. This is the one of the last things that bothers me. I'll talk about it today. But have you noticed in this country that we bust the balls of the people that follow the rules as opposed to the people that don't? Okay, meaning George Floyd. Okay, junkie, drug addict, long rap sheet, held a loaded gun to a pregnant woman's stomach. Just a scumbag of a human being. Okay, sorry, but he is. Judge. Let's not be. You be judged. Shut up. The guy was a scum. If you hold a loaded gun to a pregnant woman's stomach, you're a scumbag. Okay, case closed. But they'll die protecting him and his good name. They're naming high schools after him. They got statues up of this crackhead. Oh, I don't want to call him a crackhead. That's wrong. I think he's a crankhead. But regardless, I think he did heroin too. So I don't want to limit him to the one drug, because I heard he was an all-around well-rounded junkie. But you have that guy who will protect, and yet you go after anybody else who let's say follows rules. Like great example is I have a medical marijuana card. I cannot get a gun, okay, because and it's for 2 years. I have to have my card gone for 2 years. But let's say you don't have a card and you smoke pot, and then you go on the application and you write no, you don't smoke pot. You get a gun. But since I did it the legal way, they'll say, well, you're on, you have a card, you're on our list, you can't get a gun. So why do you punish the people that follow the rules? It's like what they do to gun owners themselves. People that, I don't know, buy only the amount they're allowed to have, and they lock them up, and they're very safe with them, and they've had guns forever and never had an incident. Those are the people that they bust their balls. And yet when, a criminal gets shot because he pulls out a gun and a cop shoots him, they start talking about how the cop's wrong. But wait a minute. Isn't it the gun? Isn't it that criminal, who had that gun that made that happen? But they can't do that because they can villainize the gun, but not the person. You know what I mean? Because the person didn't have a father growing up and really needed a hug from mommy at times. And it's just nonsense. It's really aggravating. And it's with everything in this country. If you follow the rules, you get your balls busted the most. And that's what we do. That's why think about people trying to come over in this country right now legally. I had a friend who I was just talking to recently, and she's from the Netherlands. And when she was marrying a guy. I don't know if that was for real or not, but she was marrying a guy to get here. They dated for 6 years because it took her 6 years to get here. So she was allowed to come for a few months, and she'd have to go home, and he could go visit her, and then blah blah blah. And when she finally got here, I think it was 5 years ago. I think they just got divorced, so they were together for over 10. So, but she was like, she had to pay a lot of money. She had to study and take tests. She had to go get inoculated. She had to go get physical. All this stuff just because she wanted to come in legally. Meanwhile, all you have to do is show up at the border, and either you could go check in with a border guard because they're no longer cops and get your free stuff, or walk around them. They don't care. Walk around them and just come in and do whatever the hell it is that you want to do. This country is in a lot of trouble, in a lot of trouble now that they keep saying, "Well, we're in a 2023, so the Republicans are going to take over a little bit." We don't have Republicans. We don't have two sides anymore. We have one side. We have one side and people playing for both, if that makes sense. So you have like McCarthy, I think, is known for speaking. Come on, do we have nobody better? Like, do it? Is there really? No, and when I say we, I only say we because there's no way I could ever consider myself a Democrat. I used to. I was a registered Democrat for a very long time, and I believe a lot of the old Democratic values. I believe in equal rights, obviously, for everyone. I believe in gay marriage is fine with me. You know why? 'Cause I don't care. Um, I do things legally, do things correctly. Have a little bit of morality. And I think everything is fine. I was talking to a friend last night about how when I was younger, I was in the Guardian Angels, and for you guys who don't know, that's like a Curtis Leewell thing. It was a citizen patrol group, blah blah blah. You got to wear the cute little red berets. Hated that. I said, why can't we just wear baseball hats? We're in New York. We're not, I'm not in at the Louvre in France. I mean, I'm in the Bronx. What the hell am I wearing a beret for? It looks silly. Um, you know, but they had a lot of stuff that was going on in the Guardian Angels way back then. I'm sorry, hold on one sec. I think we're still buffering here now. Looks like everything just froze on me. For the love of Christmas. Yep. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot my whole story about the Guardian Angels now. Son of a bitch. But yeah, I really do. Hey, you know something? I'm gonna try to fix this internet thing. So give me like 2 seconds. And like I said, once again, everybody, it's not Renegade Radio right now. It's just me, Bri. I'm rambling, hanging out with you guys for a little bit. It is January 2nd at 1:56. John couldn't come in, so we're gonna do a show tomorrow. But I'll hang out with you guys a little bit more because I'm bored and I missed you. So listen to this, by the way. This is Daryl Hall, John Oates. I'm sorry, not John Oates. Daryl Hall and Smokey Robinson, and they do Sarah Smile, which is one of my favorite songs. But then they go into I think it's called "Ooh Baby" by Smokey Robinson. Phenomenal. And then I'll come back after that. real weird. I am playing music. A lot of you guys aren't hearing it. That's weird. I wonder why. Because effing computer, man. Because the problem is, does that mean normally you don't hear music when we play music? Because I haven't done anything differently. So you know something, man. I am so tired of this stuff, and just because. And when I say this, I just mean the technical nonsense. I don't get it. Why would you not be able to hear it? So let's see. It's saying it's on the streamer, but not on YouTube. And the funniest part about YouTube is they keep kicking me off because they'll say that there's copyright infringement when I do play a song. So I don't know. I have no clue. Well, anyway, you guys are missing it. So how about this? I'll either put it on my Facebook page later, or not now, but when I'm done, because I'm hearing it in my headphones. I love it. Go look up. It's called Daryl's House. It's Daryl Hall from Daryl Hall and Jonos. But Smokey Robinson doing Sarah Smile and Ooh Baby Baby live with Daryl. Phenomenal. It was phenomenal. Probably one of the best versions of that song. I like that song, but they did Sarah Smile, which it was always one of my favorite songs. Um, and then it kind of just bleeds into that Smokey Robinson song, which he doesn't want to sing at first, but then he does, and it's phenomenal. The guy's just got an amazing voice. Well, so does Daryl, though. Like I know him. Well, so does Daryl and John hosts. But yeah, phenomenal. Actually, with my ex girlfriend, I had seen them. I'm going to say 4 or 5 times over the last 4 years. The only time I missed them, well, I missed them during the pandemic, and then when she and I broke up, I didn't go that time either. But I'm going next time. Phenomenal band. If you've never seen them live, and they got to be almost 70, I think. Phenomenal though. Just just still killing it. Sound exactly like they did back in the day. If anything, a little better. So I would say check them out. I don't know if they're coming around. They normally come around in the summertime. Like I've seen them. I think they were at Mohegan last year. I missed them last year. But normally they're up in New Hampshire, or they'll play somewhere around here in Massachusetts. So I say do it. You know, real quick. I was just chatting with somebody online real quick about what do you do on New Year's and that type of nonsense. Like, because I'm so tired of that. I mean, you know something. I mean, it was a very lackluster. Who gives an S type of let's just get this over. And I hate that. I hate the fact that, and I think a lot of people out there are kind of doing the same thing as I'm doing, but I don't know if it's age. I don't know if it's getting bitter. I don't know if you're just tired of that. Everybody else's crap and you just want to get it over with. But because I'll say like, how was it? And say, well, whatever. Like young kids go out, I guess, and oh my God, I just sound like my grandfather. But young kids will go out and party and have fun and all that stuff. And I guess, us older people sit at home and watch the clock and go, yeah, Happy New Year. I'm going to bed. Um, but yeah, I didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. And unfortunately, my son has COVID, and he's in North Carolina, so I didn't get a chance to go down there and spend it with him. So, you know, I just kind of rolled in the new year and said the hell with it, went to bed. Actually, there's a bigger story to that I can't tell right now, but I can eventually, and it's going to be a good one. I'm going to save that story for you guys listening now. Remind me when we get back on terrestrial, which God willing is going to be very shortly. That could be one of the that could be one of the first stories we break out because it's funny. It's a funny story, and it's just amazingly pathetic. And that's why it's funny. It's not funny because it's haha funny. It's funny because it's just like, whoa, what else would you expect type of thing. Although once again, I am shedding my negative attitude because boy, when they say negativity breeds negativity, uh, yikes, yikes. I'm starting to believe that. So everything is positive for me now, and that's the way I'm going to look at it. So I'm positive COVID's coming back. I'm positive we're going to have to wear masks. I'm positive they're going to try and push a mandate. But I'm just, but yeah, I don't know. I think that's going to be a pretty good story. But anyway, a lot of people I know just didn't do anything, didn't even bother. Just like I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if we're just getting tired, getting older, and just getting tired of it, or whatever. But wow, man, I'm just looking at this other side of the room. I'm sorry, I just got totally distracted. Once again, everybody, because people ask me, this is a show. No, I'm not doing a show. It's just Brian. I'm just babbling with you guys. It is 2:08, I think, on January 2nd. So I'm live. If you want to join the chat room, go over and do that. That's at therenegaderadio.com. You can go to our YouTube page, which is Renegade Radio Boston, or you can listen on our apps. Apparently, if you listen on the apps or streamer, you can actually hear the music behind me too, but not on YouTube. Maybe that's what they've done since I violated their copyright thing. They've taken music playing away from me. But my point was, I was looking over here at the studio beyond the camera, and yikes, like that's a lot of crap, man. Like I don't have a truck either, and it's none of it's packed. John and I both. This is why the partnership between John and I in this radio show is perfect. We just have to find another person that's a I don't know, a go getter, because neither one of us are. Like we could have come in yesterday or the day before and packed up. Hell, I could have stayed on a Friday and packed the whole thing up and then just came in and moved it today. But I did nothing, and then I came in today, and I've been doing that stuff where you kind of just look at everything, and you just get overwhelmed, so you sit down and do nothing, and that's where I'm at right now, just sitting around doing nothing. And I got stuff to do later today too. Well, not really. Just I have busy stuff I want to do. Like, I want to go to the gym, and I want to go home, and then I want to go to sleep. I don't know. I got it. I really got to get a life back. And this show is like always the center part of it, and just this effing waiting for so long has been so crazy. Like I said, not getting negative because our agent claims. I'm not gonna say claims. Our agent is working on stuff. So we'll see. But I just feel silly saying that after all this time. But we'll see. Well, I say once again that was negative, and I reject negativity. That's my new thing. Like I said, and if you want to know why, just go on Facebook and like one positive reaffirmation post, and then check your feed about an hour later. You have nothing but. I've learned so much. I actually have. Man, I wish I had a phone. Then we could all talk. I could be taking calls and all that good stuff. But oh yeah, I gotta take this thing too. But yeah, tomorrow. Well, actually, today is our last day here. Tomorrow we should be going from the new studio, and that's if I could get all this crap over and set up in time. So you know what I'm thinking? To be quite honest with you, I'm thinking just take everything except for the equipment itself. Leave the equipment. Ask them if we could come in tomorrow, bang a show out real quick, and then move it over because I don't have all day to try to figure it out. Depends on how nice these people are. They've been great. These people here, actually, they've been phenomenal. That's why I don't want to leave them a mess either. Um, so yeah, maybe we'll do that. But I definitely think we got to get a show going on because, I can't stand these days off. They are driving me crazy. Absolutely crazy. I hate not doing the show. It really, really bothers me. Let's see. I hate people. I'm really, the people just asking stupid questions. Like, somebody just wrote in, I guess, because I said something about how, I enjoyed working out. Somebody just wrote in, how does one enjoy working out? Oh, you scoundrel. I see, I thank you. What is that? Yeah, thank you. But on the chat room, they're saying, I think you guys proved yourself by continuing the show after MEX and waiting for Ross. Yeah, thanks, man. Like, that's as weird as that sounds. I know that sounds. I hate, it's been such a surreal time. You know what I mean? Like for what's going on. Like even like with John and I, everything was normal up until MEX shut down. Like everything was really going good. I mean, like the fact that we got this agency to represent us was huge. The fact that we started getting ratings and we would start doing live events and people, like a lot of people were showing up. We did that one pop-up event and just, it was crazy. It was just so much fun. Like we love the fact that people enjoyed the show so much because that's kind of what the show is. That's why it's nobody's name. I hate when they do that. Like the Bob and Jim show. That's Renegade. It was just, so if I wasn't there, John was there. The show could always go on. It was just a bunch of guys being a-holes to each other, having fun, and oh man, I missed that. And then when MEX went under, we tried, we did keep the show going for as long as we could as one unit. And then little by little, things started happening. But I think that, that whole thing, especially with a show, this show isn't, we're not going to come on again and be the old Renegade Radio. It's silly. That was 5 years ago. But boy, I can't wait to get back on because we're gonna kick the doors down because it's right now it's so generically crappy in radio, but they're happy with it. And that's the problem. Like when you talk to people in the business, they're happy with it. Like they think there's no problem with generic nonsense and not even just generic, the vulgarness of some stuff. And once again, don't mean to sound like an old lady, but like I don't find dirty words funny anymore. Like if they're placed into a joke correctly, they're funny, but when you turn on a station here in Boston, BOS, and you just hear people saying penis, like what? Like, what am I missing? I don't understand what I'm missing. So I don't understand, like, I don't know who gave oral sex to who to get those guys, on the air. But here's the craziest part about that show. They're not just here. which is this is a big market, man. Boston's a great market, but they're also in a few others. So that is successful. So are John and I, just out of touch? Do we not understand anymore what people want? Like, 'cause I don't think I have anything in common with a millennial, and I'm not saying all, but that's just not my thing. So I think I identify more with people my age, older, a little bit younger too, like in the 30s and up. Like an 18-year-old kid is not going to be digging the show, and that's fine. It's not meant for you, But I think regular radio, the way it used to be, see, that's why I think people my age get it. If you think back 15, 20 years before all this woke nonsense, and you had people like Ron and Fez, I don't know if you guys had them up here, but they were national. Ron and Fez, very funny. Opie and Anthony, very funny. Howard Stern, before he turned into a total nut, very funny. Um, there were a lot of shows. Bob, I think it was Bob and Tom or Tom and something. There were just a lot of really fun shows. You could tune into them, kind of like what we were doing. You tune into them, and it was like hanging out with your friends, listening to a party, and then they would talk sports, and they would talk news, and they would talk whatever, and they'd ball bust on each other, and it was just a great time. And then that all went away to this generic pablum nonsense that they have, and people seem to be content for it. In the chat room, they're saying radio is screaming for you guys. Thank you. Trust me, we're screaming back, but we have we have a position here where I don't know if it's because when we were on MEX, we did a lot of politics, and unfortunately, now that these people, as far as politics go now, yeah, they're going to punish you if you don't agree, which is fine. You know what I mean? We made a very conscious decision in the beginning when we realized it's going to make it a lot harder on ourselves to find another gig or to go somewhere else if we continued, to do news. But you know something? What are you going to do? Not do news? I mean, look at the world. Look at what's going on around you. It affects you in every. So even I think even in sports or whatever, you're going to wind up talking about something that's relevant in the news. I mean, it just is. So unfortunately, a lot of Democrats and weak-willed people run a lot of these entertainment industries. So I think we were kind of punished a little bit for that, and it is what it is. I mean, like I said, if we were to go on a comedy or a music station, we're not going to come out there, talking about Trump 24/7. I mean, unless there was a reason to. But this play, it just, and then obviously, well, that was another thing. The mandates for some of those larger radio companies were just ridiculous. Like to hear that they would can at people. I mean, big people that if you didn't get the shot, you got out. It's kind of like after the election was stolen, and big places came out and said, if you say that you think it's stolen or you put out anything that somebody might think that you're saying it's stolen, you're fired. So you saw right away there's censorship out the ass, and in a bad way, like in a way that it should not have ever happened here. But unfortunately, that's kind of what it is. And thanks, Ed. They're saying that's what makes Renegade so unique. Well, I appreciate it, and I think the dumb stuff that we did, the fun stuff, even the stuff that because here's something that people didn't know about the show. Well, maybe you did. It's never planned. Like I know John and I will talk about it sometimes, but it's just never planned. I mean, as far as well, we might know some stories, but we'll do that stuff where when I come in and we're talking, I'll say, oh yeah, like let's say there's something I want to talk about. Oh, I saw this last night, and he'll go, oh yeah, and I'll go, oh, we'll talk about it on the air though. The reason being is if we talk about it now, he's going to laugh genuinely. I'll laugh genuinely. We'll make each other. He'll say something. I'll say something, and it will just be a funny conversation. And then when you go on the air, you can't really replicate that. You know what I mean? Because there's no spontaneity. There's no because that's what's fun about the conversation. So there's a ton of stuff. So when we had producers and stuff, though, we'd say, okay, I want X amount of soundboards, and we'd say to them, that's the way you communicate with us. You know what I mean? So join in as much as you can, but don't just play sound effects to play them. Play something that fits. Play a clip, play a sound effect, play whatever. And that's the most show prep I think we did. That's pretty much it. Or we'd say, hey, Trump's talking tonight, or Hillary's on TV, or Bernie's saying this, so get us clips. And then we just kind of ad-libbed from there, and it was just so much fun. It was just I think it's the best way to do it. Because it comes off like that. It comes off fresh. I mean, and sometimes you flop, sometimes you hit a home run, sometimes you get a double. But if anything, I think it's an not easier, but it's a better way, and I think people enjoy it more. And that's why you incorporate the phone and the text line and all that stuff. And God, I can't wait to get back on terrestrial. And hopefully we'll be around here once again. If not, we'll just you can listen online. But I think we're going to be around here. Otherwise I'm going to have to. bribe my ex-girlfriend and steal 2 dogs and run to another state because I'm not leaving without them. But, that's isn't that crazy that that's the majority of the reason that I wanna get a job here? Actually, the majority of the reason is you guys. So, I I'm so sweet. But it is. It's because 'cause we've made, a whole bunch of friends here and, a bunch of loyal listeners. And, you know, but, to move, I couldn't move without Ollie and Minnie. I really couldn't. My 2 little my 2 little tough dogs. I weigh 200 and what, 18 pounds, and I'm walking around with a 4.5 pound dog and a 6.5 pound dog. And, I love them to death. They're just so cute. It's funny because they both think they could kick somebody's ass too. They start barking and jumping. They can't open their mouths to even really eat, but, they're gonna rip your face off with those little teeth, as long as your skin isn't too thick because they'll just bend those teeth in half. So, all right, guys, so let's see, what time is now? It's 2:20, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a little bit music. Hopefully, it's playing on YouTube. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna come back, we'll talk for a little bit, but I am gonna try to get some stuff done, so give me about 10 minutes, I'm gonna say. 10 minutes, and then I'll be back, and we'll hang out for a little bit, and then I guess we could all get going, but I figured, I wanted to jump on, 1, 'cause I miss you guys, 2, I figured you miss us, and, 3, it's Monday, we should be doing a show, it's just little Johnny's got a whole bunch of pressure on him over at that other place. That's why, getting us back on terrestrial will be a very good thing. So, here's that song again, I think. Is it? Hold on. I can't tell if it's the same one. I think it is. I think it's the one I was talking about earlier with, Smokey Robinson and, Daryl Hall. So, I'm gonna play that very quickly, and, then I'll be back.